Morning, welcome back. Well, I'm glad my hair is looking less like an Ajumma that's really good at making kimchi, and more like a cool one that slaps people with it instead. So, underconsumption, eh?
Fast forward.
There's been a lot of discourse about how we've turned into these weird creatures of overconsumption these past few years, with all these ads we keep seeing that tap into human psychology paid for by brands that could literally buy your entire family. It's not propaganda per se, but we are being conditioned like that silly Pavlov dog. Sure, I'll buy a new expensive phone every single year because that's totally normal now. My current phone suddenly seems really slow after the release of the newest PiPhone 19. Ooh, and this 2000 and version has an extra pixel in the camera, sold. Any excessive consumption of goods and services that has a negative effect to humans or the environment can be classified as overconsumption. Like an influencer spending $1,000 on microplastic clothes for a 1-minute review video and then throwing them away to make room for more clothes. As with all popular trends, there comes a time when we find out they've had an evil twin hiding in the shadows all along. Okay, maybe not evil and not so much a twin, but more like a step cousin that you only see once a year that brings really weird vibes to the function. And that's how underconsumption core has suddenly taken over the internet. Underconsumption is all about de-influencing and not giving into temptation to buy more things just because. They're the antithesis to overconsumption. Instead of investing into clothes for your family, of Stanley Cups that keep multiplying every week and draining your bank account so you can copy a rich influencer's lifestyle. Why does that Stanley Cup have more accessories than me? That's a cup, guys, not a child, what the heck? You're being more sustainable by changing your spending habits and buying things based more on your needs, and doing DIY projects to unlock new items, like repurposing a glass candle jar into a cup, patching up your pants with holes in them, just getting as much use as you can from the things you own before you throw them away. The goal of this trend is to make us more self-aware of our actions, while also letting people share their belongings with the rest of the world. Which is always interesting for nosy people. I want to see the inside of people's houses. It's not a groundbreaking trend, just humans being humans with social media and smartphones now. So why is there a second word after underconsumption, and why is everything suddenly turning into a core or some kind of aesthetic? Well, the best way to showcase your personality online is with your appearance. You buy stuff, you put it on,
and maybe someone else that's also wearing a Legoshi wolf head will hit me up and be friends. Ka-chan.
and we be kind of sad and lonely nowadays. People are just trying to have fun, while also finding like-minded people who are interested in the same things. But after that giant wave of overconsumption, we now feel the need to constantly be purchasing things to keep up with everyone else. It seems like even personalities have become buyable Fortnite skins instead of actual lifestyles. You look emo and grunge on the outside. Are you actually anti-consumers though? Or did you buy or look for Marshalls so you can get views, since emos are trending now? First fast fashion cookies, now fast fashion personalities. What's next? Fast fashion pee-pee and poo-poo? Everything that gets posted online now is content, whether you mean for it to be or not. Forget about living in the moment and having fun. We don't do that anymore when there's money and clout to be made. Your random video of you eating mustard and raw vegetables could make you the next big thing with multiple brand deals next month. It's always, what's your brand? Do you have a niche? I'm gonna teach you how to find your target audience. If you don't figure out your ROI in the next 5 minutes, we're just gonna move on to the next up and coming younger version of you. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to have good vibes so I don't zoom myself off a bridge. By chasing the next trendiest aesthetic and being the first person to be associated with it when it gets popular, in the words of the famous philosopher Eugene Harold Krabs,
money, money.
There's always potential to become the next famous influencer that acquires generational wealth for their family. And you don't want FOMO. Wanting to fit in with the majority or any sort of group is a very normal feeling. That's why personality tests and figuring out your MBTI have been so popular all around the world. Fitting in and hopping onto popular trends isn't always a bad thing. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Not everyone can be a high quality Sigma in a skibidi toilet world. With how fast things spread on social media, the herd mentality we sometimes do can work in a positive way. We're able to find like-minded people faster, people with limited information can have access to more perspectives. Wasn't Wikipedia built on the backs of everyone info dumping what they know onto a website? So if the popular majority is vanilla brown latte hair military otakus with furry tendencies, then catch me with a wolf head on at the next meet and greet. Expressing ourselves with makeup and fashion is totally fine, but it does seem like we've become more focused on letting the things we own define us instead of developing actual personalities and skills. So, moral of the story, overconsumption bad and you need to stop it right now. Problem solved, guys. Great job. Miranda Priestley.
That's all.
Well, yes, but actually no. In the long run, underconsumption is going to be better for consumers and the environment. We might still be eating microplastics, but at least we can stop feeding it to the planet. But you know how people can be competitive? Why have we suddenly turned this trend into a I can underconsume more than you competition? We started driving on the freshly paved road, but then started veering towards a cliff because we got distracted.
We're talking about fridges that are barely stocked, products and cosmetic goo that is definitely expired but still kept around because it's still half full, broken things that are technically still usable but kind of a hazard. Cracked mirrors are bad feng shui.
If I had this mirror, my anxiety would think Final Destination was going to happen. I saw someone with a jar of Vaseline from the 60s, which is kind of cool. It's like an ancient relic. That yellow jar lived through a civil rights movement and saw the creation of Skibidi Toilet. What a well-rounded personality. But I am concerned if you're going to use it on your lips or your skin. Is it just me, or does anyone else see a green aura radiating around that jar? We're not focusing on people who actually can afford things, but more so the performative aspect of this trend.
You got people throwing away a bunch of their makeup and skincare products until they only have 2 left to be underconsumption core.
I guess, you got the spirit, but the actions are wrong. Underconsumption doesn't mean who's the most poor and has the least amount of things. It's about looking at your own spending habits and changing them for the better.
But no, it's who looks more like a level 1 Elden Ring character now.
And if you didn't know that, the comments will definitely police your behavior and judge you based on how underconsumption core you are. If you're able to buy new things, don't.
Only have 1 or at the most 2 of everything. Any more than that is wasteful.
Only thrift and use your items until they're basically falling apart before you buy something new. Sure, using things until they're at 0% and buying things secondhand is good for the planet, but that doesn't mean you need to buy your underwear and medication from Craigslist too.
This TikTok talked about how someone would use 6 to 7 products to do their makeup routine, which were high-end products, but she would use them for years and would only replace them when they ran out. 6 to 7 is underconsumption to you? I use chapstick and Vaseline. That's underconsumption.
If you're not using Vaseline as foundation, Vaseline as blush, Vaseline eyeshadow, then sorry, you're not underconsumption core. Bruh, 6 to 7 products is a pretty average makeup routine. Yeah, you don't need makeup to live, but if you're a woman and want an easier life, then you kinda have to.
When I first watched this TikTok, it looked like a good example of underconsumption from what I understood from the trend. But tell me what you see that is not correct underconsumption. I'm confused. You have acrylic nails on though.
We can't do our nails if we want to be under consumption. I feel like this whole conversation here is an overconsumption of brain power.
Even showing your pets and having Amazon boxes in your house will get people heated. Amazon boxes in the background?
If she went from buying 20 Amazon boxes to 3 a month, then you could call that underconsumption.
You can't expect people to go from living the same way for most of their life to the bare bones in the matter of whenever this trend became popular.
Unless you're extremely poor, having 1 shirt, 1 shoe, and 1 underwear isn't a normal way to live.
Even someone showing their house with a standard amount of things will have people saying, "This is not underconsumption, honey. You have plenty of things. This is just normal consumption. Definitely not underconsumption."
Also, if I hear Norah Jones one more time, sorry, it's just that her soothing voice makes me want to yell. Sure, there's more than one skin product here, but what are people with acne supposed to do? Pray that underconsumption clears their skin?
I'm sure everyone would love to have perfect skin using 1 cleanser and 1 moisturizer, but that's not doable for most unless you got blessed with perfect skin genetics. Shaming people into not buying things shouldn't be the goal here.
How about kitchens where we store ingredients and make food to survive? Surely we can't buy too many groceries, right?
Underconsumption core, 4 water bottles, full fridge, decor everywhere, just beautiful. Fridge full, like no hate, but we are so out of touch with reality.
Some have classified this behavior as wealth hoarding. Oh my god, that me. I need to throw away my fridge tonight. Having a pantry full of food or a closet stocked with cleaning supplies isn't overconsumption.
That's just being prepared so you don't need to go to the grocery store every 5 hours because you ran out of an ingredient, or take a 40-minute drive to pick up a bottle of lotion because you ran out.
I'll even go as far as to say your neighbor with 10 Stanley cups isn't a wealth hoarder. The billionaires who avoid paying taxes and can end world hunger tomorrow are the wealth hoarders.
Spending money on things is supposed to make our lives easier and happier. If you're denying yourself that just so you can fit in with this underconsumption trend, that's where it gets a little dystopian.
Life's kinda long, so these materialistic things once in a while is okay. There's just something about going to the mall and coming home with a bunch of bags or getting a package you ordered months ago that you forgot about that really activates our dopamine levels. Do you need 10 Stanley cups in your life to survive? Probably not, but if you enjoy collecting them, go for it. We all have random hobbies that take up resources and contribute to their carbon footprint. I do want to mention again how performative this trend can be, especially with influencers who are normally luxury maximalists suddenly turn to cosplaying an underconsumption core influencer, making their clothes and Van Cleef necklaces from scratch.
When in their last video they showed us their 50-step haircut routine, their collection of 10 pink Lamborghinis, after stocking their fridge with 55 of everything. When something gets turned into a trendy aesthetic by influencers, people are gonna start buying the things they promote, causing those once affordable items to start jacking up their prices. Just take a look at what happened to the brand CeraVe and thrift stores.
Well, another trend that picked up traction that will probably come and go in the next year or two. I don't mind seeing people's ancient relics, like a cup they still have from when they were 5. I am, however, gonna pass on your underwear with holes in them. Asking again for a friend, is one of these consuming trends worse than the other?
If we used underconsumption as a way to reevaluate our own spending habits, as it was intended for in the first place, then we can become masters of our own fate, of whether we're overconsuming or underconsuming.
I like to think of this as recalibrating our brains into what's normal again by seeing both perspectives. Hopefully we can end up somewhere in the middle. You can still buy things, but just be mindful that you're not centering your life around your belongings. There is a sale at Costco this week, and I'm buying an entire salmon fillet all to myself. And stocking up on toilet paper toothpaste like my ancestors did. Forget finance bros, this is immigrant parent wisdom. There is one thing you can never overconsume, and that's feeding the YouTube algorithm.
You only get one like per video, so pop it onto this one and I'll get to see you the next time I post.
Have a good day, try not to be dumb, and see you in the next one.